Hi, my name is Kay. Welcome to my channel. So today we're going to talk about my winter 2025 TBR. I have some really good books today that I want to talk to you about. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. So the first book that I want to talk to you all about is this historical fiction book called All We Were Promised by Ashton Lattimore, who is a Black author. This was my book of the month for April of 2024. And it's just been sitting on my bookshelf. And so I love historical fantasy and I just kind of want to get into it. So I thought this would be a really good start to that genre this year. And so basically this book follows three Black women, two of them which are still enslaved. And it takes place pre-Civil War. So it's in Philadelphia of 1837. And one of the women has already escaped from their plantation down south, and they settled in Philadelphia. And then the other one, who is still enslaved, wants to escape. And so the one that has already escaped befriends one of Philadelphia's wealthy, she comes from one of Philadelphia's wealthiest Black families. And so she befriends her, and they kind of work out a plan of how they're going to get the other girl that comes from her previous plantation, or comes from her plantation, to freedom. And so I'm really excited about reading this book because I love, and this is gonna sound horrible, but my two favorite wars to study is the Civil War and World War II. I'm really interested in that. And so any book that I get that talks about either one of those wars, I'm already invested into it. Like, all it has to say is pre-Civil War, Civil War, pre-World War II, World War II, and I'm going to read it. Now, am I going to continue reading it? That depends, but I'm going to pick the book up. So yes, and this cover is absolutely beautiful. That's one thing I do love about Book of the Month books, is that when you get them, the covers are always just vibrant and they're just pretty. So I'm really excited to dive into this one. The next book that I am going to read is by Gabrielle Union. It is one of her autobiographies. You Got Anything Stronger? It's like her stories, and I'm really excited to read this. I really like reading autobiographies, memoirs. I can't say that word. Memoirs. Anywho, I'm really excited to getting back into reading these type of books. The last book that I read was Michelle Obama's The Light We Carry, and I really liked that book. It was really good. It gave some great advice on just how to navigate life in general. So I'm excited to read this. And plus, let's talk about it. I love Gabrielle Union as an actress. Every show, movie, whatever that she is in hits every single time. We know the role she's gonna play, right? And she does it exceptionally well. I love it. And I love her as an actress. So I'm excited to get into that book. The next book that we're gonna read is an author that I discovered this past summer, and I really like her writing. The story that I read had me captivated, and it's Ashley Poston, The 7-Year Slip. I'm really excited to read this book because I read her book, A Novel Love Story, this past June. Chef's kiss. Loved it. One, because it takes place it's about books, about book lovers. And then the story takes place in a fictional town. And I love being delusional. Let's just be honest. I love living in the land of Delulu because reality sucks sometimes, right? And so the fact that I'm able to read a book about a fictional town just puts me in the right mindset. And I love a good romance. And so I really like that book, and I love her writing. It was really easy to follow. And so I'm really excited about this book. Plus, on Book Talk, BookTube, or whatever, they have said, everybody who has talked about this book has said that they really enjoyed the book. And so I'm really excited to get to read this. Plus, the main character's name is Clementine. And I love C names because my name is Kay. Number one. Number two, I like weird and unique names like that. So Clementine, it's just like the historical fiction. If it takes place in World War II or Civil War era, you got me. So if you got a name like Clementine or something like that, I'm gonna read it. This next book I'm really excited about because I read the book, the previous book to it, and it's by Tessa Bailey, The Au Pair Affair. Fangirl down, loved it. I mean, when I say that's the type of romance I like. And so I'm really excited about it. Plus, it's sports. I used to be a competitive swimmer in high school and in college, and I marched in college, but in high school. But in college, I was in marching band. And before anybody says or thinks that marching band is not a sport, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay? You know that saying, think before we speak? Think before you think. Because it is a sport. But anywho, so I understand being a part of the sports community, the stress and all of that stuff. So I was invested in the story. And I was able to connect with the characters. And so this is Tallulah's story. Tallulah is the best friend from the other main character, so I can't remember the girl's name. But Tallulah, and you know I love weird names like that. Tallulah, I'm just excited. And I know the spice level in this one is going to be just as good as the spice level in Fangirl Down. Because Tessa Bailey brings the spice, honey. Brings it. Love it. So I'm really excited about her. This next book has been on my bookshelf for the last year. And I need to read it. And it's called Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I've heard some pretty good reviews about this book. It's a winter themed book, and so that's really the main reason why it's in my TBR, because it takes place in the winter time, or it's a winter themed book and I need to read it. And so, and her dress is popping, her little skating outfit. So it's cute. The cover's cute. I'm gonna read it. I don't really know what it's about. I didn't read the book. I just saw it on my bookshelf and I was like, you know what? We're gonna read it because it's winter time. So yeah. The next book I'm really excited to read, one of my favorite booktubers that I like to watch, Shaughnessy, and I really hope I'm saying her name right because her name is so pretty. But Shaughnessy, she's read it and she's has some really good things to say about it. And a lot of her book recommendations are really good. So this one is called The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. I'm really excited to read this book. One because the characters in it are Black, and it's about books, and it's a romance, and I'm here for it. I love stuff like this. So I'm really excited to read this book. I didn't really read the back of it because Shaughnessy said it was good, and so I'm just going off of what Shaughnessy says. Okay. The next book I'm going to read is The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern, and this one is by Lydia Cohen Loigman. This was my book of the month for September of 2024, and it follows Augusta, who is a retired pharmacist. She retired to this senior community in Florida, and when she's there, she reconnects with her love interest of when she was a kid, or maybe not a kid, but like a young adult, 60 years later. And so it just follows her story, and also talks about how when she was younger, after her mother passed away, her aunt came to live with her and her father, and how she got into learning how to do I don't even know what you would call it, but learning how to do potions and stuff like that, which is what sparked her interest to getting into pharmacy. So anyway, I'm really excited about reading this story. My coworker, who's my book friend at work, she read this story. We got the book at the same time, but she read it in September, and she said it was a good book. It was a good read. It's a good in between when you're trying to not get into a reading slump, and you want a good book, but just a good transitional book. So I'm excited to read it because I like a good love story with a little bit of chaos or drama, or how did I get here in life. So I'm excited for this. So my next two books that I am really excited to read is, and one of them I've already read, but this one is The Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. I love Harry Potter. Anybody who knows me knows I am a diehard Harry Potter fan. I can watch the movies over and over again, and it'll be like, ooh, something new. It's almost like going to Disney World for me. Like, I'm a Disney adult, and we can get into that later. And yes, I'm one of those that will go on social media and watch Disney vlogs and all of that. Okay, we're getting off topic. Moving on. Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. And House of Slytherin, please stand up. We're the best house. Let's just get this out of the way. House of Slytherin is the best house. Don't debate it because you're wrong. I might even give you Ravenclaw because that's the other house that I tested into. Other than that, there's nothing better. So anywho, I'm really excited to get into this because the last time I read this book series, it was 2004. I was in 4th grade. 5th grade. I was in 5th grade when I read this series. I fell in love with it. This series is what got me into fantasy. I know a lot of people talking about, like, I got into fantasy when I read Twilight. Baby, I was already there. Okay? Harry Potter. Harry is what got me into fantasy. And then when you're reading the book and watching the movie at the same time, because that was right around the time when the movie started coming out, and it was just a whole thing. So I want to reread this series. I'm really interested in getting the book's point of view as an adult versus as a kid, because I know I'm gonna pick up on some things that I didn't pick up on as a child. But another thing is one of my other favorite booktubers, Kalila D to be exact. I love her. She's like my best friend in my head. But anyway, Kalila, she read this series last year around this time, or got into it around this time last year. And honey, when I say she went on a tangent, and it was a good one at that, about it, I said, I got this series on my bookshelf. Let me read it. And so never got to it last year. But I'm going to get to it this year. Me and Kalila are going to be right there together, reading it together. So I'm excited about reading this because I love Harry Potter. He's a fan favorite. Yeah, nothing more to say about it. We're going to get back into it. This is another big pick from Kalila. And I love this series. Like, I loved reading Shadow and Bone. It's from the Shadow and Bone series. Let me just put that out there if I didn't already say. But I love Shadow and Bone. I loved reading that series. But then I also love the Netflix show. And I'm pissed that they canceled it. But that's a rant for another day. So I'm really interested in getting into this book, 6 of Crows. Kalila, girl, I watched you read this book. I watched you read it. And then after I watched your review on it, I went out and bought the duology. Okay? Thank you. Because you reminded me of why I loved that series, Shadow and Bone, so much. I went back and rewatched the YouTube series. Not the YouTube series. Look at me. I went back and rewatched the Netflix series. Then I started Shadow and Bone, and I was just like, I have to get back on. I have to be on Kalila's page, literally. So I went to Barnesy, and I picked this up. And I'm going to read it. It's going to be my winter TBR. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read it. And I'm going to understand what the hype is. I already love Kaz. I love Inez. I love all of them in Shadow and Bone. So I already know that because this focuses on them more, I'm going to love it. And then I'm going to rewatch Kalila's videos. So then I can be like, girl, I'm with you. I got you. I get what you're saying. Yes, I love them too. So that's just kind of where I'm at with that. With this one, and I'm excited to read it. And then last but surely not least, my last book is going to be on my Kindle. Let me fix you, girl. Let me fix you, Calliope. Okay. So my last book choice is going to be on my Kindle. And we're going to read Zodiac Academy. And I'm excited about reading this book. One, because my other coworker, she's read this series and she's gone on about how good it is. Now, the last time, but it's a long series. And now the last time I read a long series, I DNF'd it, and that was Throne of Glass. Now, before y'all jump down my throat and said, how could you, how dare you, blue bleep blop, I had beef with one of the characters. I pronounce it Chow. Anywho, I just can't. Me and him was beefed out, and I just had to take a break. Like, it was a very toxic relationship that I had with him, and if I continued on in that relationship, anywho, anyway, so she kept talking about how good this series is. So I said, okay, all right, girl, I'm gonna read it. So I got it. The first book is on Kindle Unlimited. And so I got the first book, and me and Calliope, this is Calliope. Say hi, Calliope. Okay. Me and Calliope are going to go ahead and we're going to read that. I think it's going to be good because it's fantasy and it has to do with zodiacs. And I am big on zodiac. I'm big on astrology. I'm a gem. And if you know, you know. We're the best. Don't debate it with me. Debate it with somebody else. Because we're the best. Okay, but anyway, so knowing that it's about zodiacs and astrology and all of that stuff, just having that type of idea, I'm excited to read it because I'm with it. I'm with the vibes. And so I'm going to read that. I'm probably going to read this book first and just to get my mind into the fantasy realm. And then I'm probably either going to read Harry Potter or Six of Crows. I'm not really sure yet, but I will say my top 5 that I'm excited to read is, let me see. Six of Crows, of course. Harry Potter. Come on, this was a no-brainer. The All Pair Affair by Tessa Bailey, because baby, yes. The 7-Year Slip. I'm excited to read this. Gabby. I'm excited to read Gabs. I'm excited to read Gabby. And I'm going to say Zodiac Academy. I'm excited to read Zodiac Academy because, like I said, I love a good zodiac sign. I'm a Gemini. And I'm just really interested in reading it. I want to get into that world. I want to see what that world is about. See if I vibe with it. See if I vibe with the characters. I already know that between all the 5, my top 5 that I'm excited to read, these three, between Cass, Harry, and Tallulah, I already know these are probably going to be the highest rating for me. Let's just say 5. We're just going to say 5-star. So I am excited to read all of this stuff. Please put down in the comment section what you're excited to read for your winter TBR, or maybe not even winter TBR, what you're excited to read in 2025. I'm really interested in knowing all the different types of books that you guys are going to be reading so that maybe I can read them too. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one.